Tonight's story comes from a driver who trusted his GPS a little too much and ended up somewhere no map dares to show. What began as a shortcut turned into a nightmare of vanishing roads, impossible turns, and something in the dark that followed him no matter which direction he drove. So sit back, turn off the lights, and listen closely, because once you hear this story, you might think twice before trusting your GPS again.
I was driving home after a long shift, exhausted and barely keeping my eyes open. The highway was packed with road work, so when my GPS suggested an alternate route, I didn't question it. The screen flickered for a moment, then displayed a thin gray line labeled simply "Unknown Road." I'd never seen that before, but I figured it was a new back road not yet fully mapped. I clicked Accept Route and turned off the main highway. Almost immediately, the traffic noise faded, swallowed by dense forest rising on both sides. My headlights seemed weaker than usual, barely pushing through the thick darkness. The road narrowed to a single lane, cracked and uneven. No houses, no signs. Nothing but endless trees. I glanced at the GPS again. The screen seemed dimmer, the route pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Estimated arrival time, unknown. I should have turned around right then, but fatigue mixed with curiosity kept me going. 5 minutes later, my radio cut out with a harsh snap of static. My phone lost service completely. The GPS voice, normally upbeat, spoke in a low, almost strained tone. "Continue straight. Do not turn around." I froze. Those weren't standard navigation words. I tapped the screen, thinking maybe it glitched, but it wouldn't respond. The route pulsed faster.
Then the forest changed. The trees leaned inward, branches like skeletal arms reaching over the road. A thick fog rolled in, flowing around like water. My breathing grew shallow. The road beneath me felt wrong, too smooth, too silent. Suddenly, the GPS said, "Approaching destination." Destination? I hadn't entered one? I slammed the brakes. The car skidded to a stop, and the fog swallowed everything outside.
I sat there, trembling. The fog pressed against the windows, dense and white, like something was breathing on the glass. I shifted into reverse, but the car wouldn't move. The whole vehicle shook, as if something heavy pressed down on the roof. I killed the engine and listened. At first, silence. Then, slow, dragging footsteps circling the car. Gravel crunching, something brushing along the doors. I didn't dare look. Suddenly, the footsteps stopped. The GPS screen lit up bright white, blinding me. A new message appeared. "Look behind you." My heart hammered so hard I thought I'd pass out. I kept my eyes locked on the screen, refusing to obey. The message repeated, letters glitching, stretching across the display. "Look behind you!" One more time, and the screen cracked, thin fractures fleeing outward like spider webs. My survival instinct finally kicked in. I turned the key. Thank God the engine started. Slamming the car into drive, I hit the gas, plowing forward through the fog. The road twisted wildly, curves sharper than any real road should have. Trees whipped past, impossibly close. The GPS shrieked directions in a distorted voice. "Turn left! Turn left! Turn—" I ignored it all and kept driving forward, hoping the road would lead anywhere but here. But the road didn't behave. It looped back on itself in impossible ways. I recognized a fallen tree I'd passed only minutes before, except now it was on the opposite side. The fog thinned briefly, enough to reveal something in the distance, a tall, dark shape standing in the road. It didn't move. I blinked, and suddenly it was closer, 10 feet closer. I slammed the brakes again. My headlights flickered like dying candles.
The sheep began to tilt its head, impossibly far to one side, like its neck was bending without resistance. My stomach turned. Its body absorbed light, a silhouette darker than the night around it. I floored it, swerving around the figure. As I passed, the temperature inside the car dropped so fast my breath frosted the windshield. A whisper slid through the air like ice cracking.
Panicking, I sped forward. The road suddenly split into 3 paths, none of which were on my GPS. The glowing, cracked screen tried to give instructions, but the words tangled, overlapping. Left, right, no, straight, stop, turn. I chose the middle path, praying it wasn't leading me deeper. The trees thinned, and for the first time since entering the unknown road, I saw a clearing ahead.
But as I entered it, my stomach dropped. The clearing wasn't empty. It was filled with abandoned cars, dozens of them, rusted, broken, doors hanging open. Some were modern, others decades old. All were coated with a thin layer of ash. Their GPS screens were shattered, identical cracks forming the same spiderweb pattern as mine. It looked like a graveyard of travelers who made the same mistake I did.
I navigated between the wrecks, slowly, terrified of what else might be hiding. In the center of the clearing stood a sign, wooden and rotting, with one carved word: stay. My GPS buzzed violently, then shut off completely. Everything went quiet, too quiet. No wind, no insects, just the dull hum of my engine and my pounding heart. I felt watched, though nothing moved. I tried turning around, but the clearing had shifted. The road I came from was gone, replaced by more trees. I turned the wheel back toward the abandoned cars. Gone! The clearing was empty, just grass and fog. I squeezed the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. I wasn't stuck in a place. The place was shifting around me. Please, I whispered to no one. Let me go home.
The dashboard lights flickered. The engine sputtered. A deep, heavy thud hit the top of the car, then another. The metal dented inward violently like something huge was landing on it. I ducked low in my seat as claws scraped down the windshield, drawing thin, jagged lines. A guttural growl vibrated through the entire vehicle. I threw the car into reverse, desperate to escape.
The fog parted suddenly, revealing a narrow exit. I didn't care where it led. I sped toward it. Branches clawed at the car like hands trying to pull me back. The growling intensified behind me, growing closer, angrier. Then, as I burst through the last wall of fog, everything changed. The forest vanished. I shot out onto a familiar highway, nearly colliding with a passing truck. Horns blared, tires screeched. I pulled onto the shoulder, shaking so badly I could hardly breathe. The fog was gone. The sky was normal. Cars drove by like nothing had happened. My GPS screen was blank, cracked beyond repair. When I looked behind me, the road I just escaped from wasn't there. Only a solid wall of forest with no openings, as if no road had ever existed. I sat there for 10 minutes before I could move again.
I drove straight home, ignoring every GPS instruction. When I parked, I noticed something on the roof. Long, deep claw marks running from front to back. Not branches, not debris. Claw marks. I didn't sleep that night. Every few minutes I'd check the window. Terrified I'd see fog rolling down my street. I threw my GPS away, but sometimes late at night, I still hear a voice whispering, recalculating.
If you ever find yourself tempted to follow a strange shortcut your GPS suggests, don't. Some roads aren't meant to be traveled, and some destinations aren't meant to be reached. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me if you want more tales of haunted technology and dark places. Thanks for listening, and remember, The safest road is the one you already know.